Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Rhonda Farrell bringing you our week 9 of Spotlight on Success. And today we are talking about successfully scaling your business. In our prior weeks, we've given you a litany of best practices, processes, and mindset shifts that will help you become more entrepreneurial and drive greater success. Again, in 2024, we're focused on three things: creating that strong vision, helping you to pivot your mindset, and creating a culture of excellence in everything that you do. So these are called the three keys to entrepreneurial success. And we really want to drive home the point that it's your why, it's your purpose, it's your well-defined and compelling vision that's going to keep you going on to the future with your business and your leadership. The next is mindset. And again, all of the week's worth of content that we've generated so far is focusing on helping you stay adaptable, resilient, and helping you to face challenges through the lens of continuous learning. And then lastly, we're focused on excellence, because when you can bring to the table innovation, quality, voice of the customer, and that strong leadership knowledge, skills, and abilities, that's when you can scale for success. So these are not only the precursors to helping you scale, but the things that you can focus on incorporating in everything that you do, from the way that you approach your business, the way that you resource your business, the way that you scale your business for greater success. In prior weeks, we really talked about getting you ready for this stage for scaling, right? And what did we need to be thinking about? We needed to be thinking about the key elements of business analysis and how, when we look at that landscape and the trends, you can become more proactive versus then reactive. We looked at readiness and the different components of how you need to assess and potentially reframe your business to be able to optimize at the scaling level. We talked about 10xing, the power of visionary goal setting, and really how it's an art and science of not only setting the goals, but of helping you springboard through the challenges and issues that you may be facing. We talked about becoming great entrepreneurs and how that's a heart, smarts, guts, and luck type configuration, and how you can embody attributes of each of those to help balance your business growth going forward. We talked about navigating uncertainty and how we define the problem space, align, conduct our analysis, and again, springboard our performance through those challenges and issues to help gain access to greater success for you and your business. And then we talked about harnessing innovation and disruption as change enablers or business enablers, right? So we wanted to help you implement a culture of continuous innovation. We wanted you to be aware of how you could understand and leverage emerging technologies. And then we wanted, again, you to get ahead of the curve so you can anticipate market trends and consumer needs. Then we talked about leadership attributes that transform, and how we as business leaders, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, very small, medium, large size businesses or community groups or nonprofits really need to show the way. And in order to do that, we need to learn ourselves how to incorporate A, what are the strongest leadership attributes and principles? B, how do we put them into action? And C, how do we see if we're moving the needle? So again, vision, innovation, navigating change and adversity, emotional intelligence, and then again, steeping everything we do in strategy. And then last week, we talked about harnessing agile principles for business growth, co-creation for value, continuous delivery, the power of collaboration, and most of all, staying adaptable and flexible. So today we're going to move to the next stage of that, right? And if you see how all of those together is really creating this strong baseline for you, the strong baseline of people, process, and technology from you for you to work from as you look at how you can scale. And so when we look at this scale, we're going to call this the diamond phase, right? Because it's really you looking at the facets of your business through the lens of the facets of a diamond. And we want to understand what can we leverage, what has the most power, proactive power for us to leverage as we look to scale. And one, it's going to be your marketing machine, right? So we want you and your business to be visible. So when we talk about ubiquities, things being ubiquitous out in the marketplace, we think of a tagline, we think of a brand image, we think of an organization that's partnering and doing good in their community, right? So those are some aspects of marketing that you can think about. Do you have a tagline that's aligned to what your why and purpose is, or the vision that you're putting out there in the world? Do you have an icon, a logo, a brand image that is readily recognizable? And if not, these are all areas that will help you then springboard to greater success. So we're inviting you to think where you're at along your journey in this marketing area, and then where you'd like to be at as you look to 2x, 5x, 10x your business going forward. The next is infrastructure. And in this infrastructure area, we want to be cognizant of how can we automate to the greatest amount those things that drive the greatest value. And so oftentimes we're looking at automating the funnel. But let's go back a step, because our infrastructure is an enabler for our entire business. So if we start at the end in mind, the very first thing we have to ensure on an annual basis is that we have continuity in our business, right? So let's pick the top 3, 5, 10, whatever those items are that enable you to continue running your business. If that's legal, if that's taxes, if that's HR, if that's reporting compliance, if that's other things, right? Those things that you need to do on an annual basis that enable your business to stay in compliance and lawfully run going forward. Those are the things we want to be focused on first, because if we can take care of that, then we can go to the next layer. When the next layer is how do we optimize, right? So in optimization, we have a people, process, technology. Well, we want to be able to harness all of those components to maximize revenue and minimize the costs and expenses, right? So the infrastructure can help us get there because we move from manual to automated. So again, we want to be thinking about not everything that we can potentially automate. We want to look at what are the things that are going to maximize our revenue generation, and we want to automate that, right? And the other aspect of this is it's an enabler for collaboration and partnerships, right? So if you're thinking about doing acquisitions, if you're thinking about doing partnerships, if you're thinking about doing some other type of related revenue exchange, this is the area that you want to get super airtight, because it's the thing that you can create once and reuse often. If that's a legal template for your contracts or your partnership, that if that's an MOU or an MOA, if that's some sort of due diligence process that you need to follow when you're onboarding, say that you're onboarding consultants, you're onboarding new hires, you're onboarding partners, or even when you're onboarding clients, right? You want to have these down to a fine art so that it's a simple button push, boom, you're able to collect all the information you need, analyze the information, and then move forward and put that into operational ready state going forward, so you can start that revenue flow. And again, this is part of what we talked about, and we will cue this up for a later discussion, and that's really that balanced portfolio, right? So we want to be looking at, when we're thinking about our infrastructure, how am I generating passive revenue streams and how am I generating active revenue streams, and can I use my infrastructure and process enablement layers to help me achieve both of those? And again, that's, we're queuing that up for a later session. Communication is the third element area in our scaling your business for success. And so what do we have to be cognizant of here? And that's really at its core is transparency, right? In all of the prior weeks, we put together our strategy that's in alignment with our vision, that's in alignment with our mission, that enabled us to reach our strategic goals, that enabled us to generate our operational initiatives, that enabled us to move to metrics and measurements and targets. And now, right, now that we've created that framework and that flow, now we need to get the word out, right? We should have been getting the word out through that entire sequence of events and steps that helps us field operationally. But in case you missed that step, right, we want to look at it from a lens of change management. So communication is key because we need to move people from awareness to engagement to these wonderful aspects of knowledge, ability, and then reinforcement, right? So first and foremost, in communication is we want to drive awareness of something, either something they can engage in, hopefully, because that's called co-creation, and that's super powerful for scaling. But at the outset, if you can't, then it's a time to capture them, right? We want to capture head, heart, and hands. So when we communicate, we have to drive awareness so that we can create desire for them to engage, right? Then we want to create a knowledge opportunity so they can reach a new level of understanding and a new level of excitement about helping or working with you to scale, because it means positive growth for them. And then we need to drive ability, and we need to reinforce that change cycle. So that change cycle happens no matter who you're involved with in your organization. That could be the client, that could be your partner, that could be your leadership team, that could be your board, that could be your workforce, staff, contractors, right? And even the community that you serve, because if they can't understand why you're doing what you're doing and the value that it adds, they're probably not going to want to help you scale your business, right? Because they're not going to understand how you can and your business can be of service to their mission, vision, goals, right? So we need to be in alignment, and communication is the key, no matter if that's external facing versus social media, white papers, blogs, etc., or internally setting the cultural landscape for greater scaling and growth, right? Because capturing our workforce, capturing our leaders, getting them on board, getting them behind your scaling efforts is key. The fourth element here on our scaling for success is what we call ideation, right? And we've talked about this in prior sessions. And the strength behind this element is that you're opening your culture up for co-creation, right? You as a senior leader, you as the CEO, you as the solopreneur, you as the board chair, right, are not able to be all things to all people. And therefore, and sometimes you don't even have a line of sight on that any longer, right? Depending on the scale of your business growth to date. So what we need to understand is, how do we enable co-creation at the lowest operational level possible so that those on the front lines are getting a chance to share what their experience, but also share their ideas for how they can make that better. So I would just like to foot stomp the fact that in scaling your business, this ideation is key. We can, again, we've talked about the different ways we can structure this, but here it is in principle form, and we'll put this into practice in later discussions. But for right now, I want to plant the seed with you that ideation every day in every way, no matter how you capture that. And I'm hoping it's about in 10 different ways that is going to help you scale, because it will help you see past your blind spots, and it will help you have aha moments quite often, because you're going to be harnessing the intelligence and the capabilities across the whole. Then last but not least, as you scale, right? You've marketed, you have your infrastructure in place, you've communicated, now you're doing this co-creation, and now you're going to harness your data and analytics to see how far, how fast you're able to scale forward. Again, part of this is going to be dependent on the infrastructure and the process layers that you put in place above. So we want you to help you think with the end in mind, that if you want to rely on the data and analytics for decisioning, then you're going to have to create that out as an outcome and result in the infrastructure capability requirements that you set forth in order to scale your business earlier, right? So each of these elements work together and need to be taken into consideration as you're looking to scale your marketing program, as you're looking to scale your infrastructure program, as you're looking to scale your communication program, as you're looking to scale your ideation, as you're looking to scale your maturity in the data and analytics area. And it's also going to help you get more robust in your capability requirements collection, analysis, and recommendations for how you move forward. So again, this is Dr. Rhonda Farrell bringing you week 9 on Spotlight on Success. Today, we talked about successfully scaling your business to help you 2x, 5x, hopefully 10x your business going forward. Join us again next week, where we'll be talking about our balanced portfolio and what you need to do to take into consideration all of the aspects for how you can 10x your revenue streams and your business for success.